cú sa cái lấy lo rong thêm mua rong cú sa bao tia yo ô lý cha thằng khó hơi bao hoa to
cú sa chuột tiệt cái bé chóp là ít khó kể mua qua mò lì
cú sa bao tia bộ mua lên từ chơi cho cú Anthem Blue Cross K ba cho trẻ nhưng mua medical hỏng trong Sacramento chỉ lý thiết cho bùa cho bao lo lờ nhưng bé trao medical hu trao ý gì bùa ó xa bé gì có bao cho tia bé yo ba tàu co lý cha cho tây ya và chỉnh chén cha trâu co thiết cái trẻ nhưng Anthem Blue Cross
luôn về hồ bà bỏ nó uyu nhau lúc đó hồ còn cao và nồng hẹp gần chừng cổ cái chừng
muốn là tập bé mà các cụ cũng còn là bây giờ muốn là muốn số cụ bé là chỉ là và mong các cụ là phải muốn số cụ bé mà giờ nó muốn là muốn cần bé chỉ cần một số cần bé thì cần một vụ mà bé thì nãy bé thì chúng ta cho nửa alma tập bé nãy bé thì nãy to mà giờ nó sinh ra bé nãy là sẽ đẹp to được quyền được
nhìn nó có hai đứa nó giờ rộng cơ nó rộng cơ cho nó như thế này cái nó giờ phải chạy có điểm mình sai rồi
khó thì nó ít tuổi này ngắn chạy bên một ít xe chỉ bạn nó còn vấn đề gì để sao lục
tất cả nhìn nó lấy cho chỉ là nhìn nó cái trái đất của nó nhìn nó có bao nhiêu tiền đâu đi đó mình đi chính xác mình đi chỉ
là bị liên tôn không nào nữa nó ăn thịt bao mà là liên tôn cha giờ là sửa chỉ sửa được ta sửa được nhá trồng thịt chua thịt chua
chỉ nếu nó giờ thấy nô thì nó đi sẽ đếnตัวตัวใจเราตัวก็biết
nô nó thấy nô nó bên trái tay
khu xử lý hay tiền thì nó giờ lên tới nó nếu cái chỗ là chỗ có của ta hẳn thế à
đủ ổn cho chỗ ấy liên tôn ở chẳng nô chẳng nô ở rồi sẽ chiều phải chi nào rồi sẽ
chỉ trong xuyên đó còn cái cái thế còn có anh nó ở trong đó này山道不应该赢。为着咩？他必须这么晒是那个找个咩补在山的话，多在山咯，要为其他的补给呢呢，要来那边要找，就没说这山的补给呢，其他找不到在，一般的找那些其他的补，多套其他的补，然后自己那也被当到，只还叫不特hạn，等到叫主叫。被省说这做了 stay 多年了呀说这多年的那到在他的部那里呢那要找那然后那个国内
cái chỗ này chỗ mà có số độ tầm nó tổng công sự đầu tư thì là cái gì theo số đó chỉ còn chạy phê rồi là chọn số phê cho mình tu mình nhiều
do là soi chế lắp say bên hải môn.
I'm actually down here to pay my respects. As much as I'm here to represent the state of Minnesota and the state Senate, and also bringing a proclamation from Mayor Chris Coleman, but for 20 plus years I had the honor to sit at the table with the general, to listen to his counsel. I am one of his children in many ways. I grew up in leadership under his watchful eye, and so I would be here irregardless of whether I was here representing the state. There's no place else I would be on this day but to come and see my old friend and say goodbye to him. So
I'm here to pay respects to the relatives and to the memory of General Vang Pao. I'm a naval aviator, flew Navy fighters, and so I know the mission that he led in Laos, and all of those Hmong warriors who fought hard to help our American soldiers out over there and go in and rescue pilots. That's pretty close to me. And so I think he's a tremendous fighter for freedom, and I think that's why you see the huge gathering here today, is because people understand his heart, not just for freedom, but for his people. And I have a letter from Congresswoman Bachmann and from the Republican Chair Tony Sutton that we're going to read, that basically to honor the memory of a great man.
Đi gì cơ léo.
กูสาก็เลยล้อจงเทียมว่าจงกูสาเป้าเตียโยโอลิจาทนเขาเฮาเป้าหัวตัว
กูสาชดเดียก็ไปชอบละอีคอเกมูกัวมอลี
กูสาเป้าเตียปัวมัวเล่นตื้อเจ้ากู Anthem Blue Cross K ป้าจ่อเจนึงมัว Medical ของจังสักแมนโตจิลีอีเทียจ่อปัวจ่อเปล่ารอเลยจึงเป็ดเจ้า Medical ผู้เจ้าอีหยีปัวอ้อชาเป้อ้อเป้หยีกระเป๋าเจ้าเตียเป้โยป้าเต้าก็ลิจาเจ้าเตียว่าจึงเจ้งชาเต้าก็เทียก็เจนึง Anthem Blue Cross
ít công kia tình nhớ tôi hãy có theo sai có vào lo thảo có vào lo tiếng chế tim hoa là sai có giả bộ tu trà nhau đời rộng nàoท่านนายพลก็อย่าไปจงมองเทจงbộ tu trà ý tu thời cho rộng chạp lợ nhau đầu tiên nào có lúc gì lúc gì các bà bé chọn mong giờ ít thở trên chi lo cơn gạo nhà trọ bên mong luôn nâng tiền nào hắn ta bây giờ khởi sĩ của luôn nâng một lời giá tận đây tháp ở nhà nói ba mô bên tuần đời nó giờ bên tuần hở gạo và lo thiên sai gạo của rõ cơ của sao cả lúc chơi sinh giờ lên nó hai đứa cậu lo thọ có tuần chụp ly một cái chắp bao cho giờ có to một quả nọ quả chữ quả vạ quả phứ nhau trò sổ luôn tụi chơi chân giả cả xe luôn chỉ ta lên đại sư thọ có chơi công chơi mong cho có chỗ mong nhau thông bờ lúc ăn tụ có số đời tổng nọ tỏ thân này phôn rồi nọ chỉ rong lý thế nia thế rồi là có yếu cho có chỗ mong theo chỗ của tu trà chơi là thế tia ai xã có vật lo một nhà bệnh tu là có bảo phụ bảo giờ có chọn mong
nhớ trong ý chỗ này cái đường trà mong chúa lần thứ số tụ thì thông bờ hôm tây nó nên nó thảo tì là saiท่านในผลว่าพอรู้เจอซึ่งเจอหลานนู่นน่ะอย่ารู้ซันเดย์วันที่เจ้าเนี่ยเราลุ้นตรงเฟรชโนกูลงเชียร์แห่งไปถึงควรชื่อซึ่งนู่นน่ะอย่าในผลอนุทักษ์ตัวชาไทยเตตัวกูมาก่อนเนื้อเคเลยตัวเข่งมันจีปูโรเน่ยังเรากูจะตีในเจ้าละหายมันจีรูไทยในขอกูหายเตานะต่อคอนี่อีตัวในผลไทยไปเตาละหายรูไทยเราหนึ่งนะแล้วก็ท่านครับสวัสดีครับแล้วก็ขอบคุณมากที่วันนี้ท่านมีโอกาสมาคุยแล้วก็มาคุยกับทางทีวีมงด้วยนะครับแล้วก็ผมก็พยายามจะพูดภาษาไทยอย่างมากที่สุดก่อนอื่นที่สุดนะครับขอให้ท่านช่วยแนะนำตัวเองให้กับคนที่กำลังดูทั่วโลกว่าท่านคือใครแล้วก็มาจากไหนมีความสัมพันธ์อะไรบ้างกับท่านนายพลวังเป่านะครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับกับผมพลตรีอนุทัศน์บุญนาคมาจากกองทัพไทยนะครับเป็นกองทัพในพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวได้รับมอบหน้าที่ให้ร่วมงานรับใช้กับท่านนายพลวังเป่ามาหลายปีนะครับในหลายเรื่องโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งในระยะ 2-3 ปีหลังในเรื่องของการนำความสุขสงบนำความเจริญที่พี่น้องชาวลาวชาวมงได้ประสบความสำเร็จในประเทศที่ 3กลับไปดูแลลูกหลานในประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองคือประเทศลาวนะครับซึ่งท่านนายพลวังเป่าได้มอบให้ท่านประธานซั่วไปประสานงานกับพวกกับผมในการที่ กลับเข้าไปสร้างมูลนิธิอเมริกันมงเดเวล็อปเมนต์ฟาวเดชั่นในประเทศลาวเพื่อนำความเจริญไปสู่พี่น้องประชาชนลูกหลานในประเทศลาวครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็วันนี้ซึ่งเป็นวันที่ชาวมงทุกคนก็รอวันว่าสักวันหนึ่งจะได้พบนายพลอนุทักษ์ซึ่งได้ยินชื่อของท่านมามากมายระหว่างปี 2009 จะจบถึง 2010 นะครับแล้วก็มีเรื่องเกี่ยวกับว่าท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าก็เตรียมตัวจะกลับไปเยี่ยมยานบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนของตัวเองซึ่งมีการเกี่ยวข้องกับท่านนายพลอนุทักษ์ด้วยท่านช่วยอธิบายแล้วก็เล่าให้ทุกคนฟังว่ามันมีการเป็นมาได้เป็นยังไงบ้างนะครับ
คือที่มานะครับคือเริ่มมาจากความเมตตากรุณาของท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าที่ไม่เคยยศเป็นผู้คนที่สูงส่งไม่เคยถือยศถือศักดิ์ท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าได้นำพวกเรามาอยู่ในประเทศที่3เป็นเวลา35ปีแล้วท่านได้คนดำรงความดีคุณความดีดูแลพวกเราพี่น้องชาวลาวชาวมงมาโดยตลอดจนกระทั่งพวกเรานั้นได้ประสบความสำเร็จในประเทศที่3อย่างยิ่งนะครับท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าก็มอบให้ท่านประธานซั่วซึ่งเป็นประธาน18ตระกูลของพี่น้องชาวมงประสานงานกับผมว่าจะทำยังไงเราถึงจะนำความเจริญกลับไปดูแลลูกหลานชาวลาวชาวมงในประเทศลาวซึ่งเป็นประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนนะครับกับผมก็ได้ประสานงานกับรัฐบาลลาวกองทัพลาวแล้วก็โปลิตบูโรของประเทศลาวในเรื่องของการขออนุญาตร่วมกันในโครงการเรียกว่า reconciliation คือการปรองดองแห่งชาติคือตามที่ท่านนายพลว่างเปล่ามอบภารกิจให้ผมคือไปขอให้อธิบายให้ทางประเทศลาวฟังว่าไม่มีการโกรธกันเคืองกันที่แล้วมันเป็นอดีตผ่านไปแล้ว
ให้มันผ่านไป
นำสิ่งที่ดีไปให้กับลูกหลานนั่นคือสิ่งที่นายพลว่างเปล่ามอบให้ประธานซั่วให้ผมไปทำงานให้ซึ่งเราทำงานมาพอสมควรนะครับแล้วก็ใกล้ที่จะได้รับอนุญาตให้เรียนเชิญท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าและคณะกลับไปโดยยกเลิกโทษทันหรือว่าอะไรสิ่งที่บาดหมางดั้งเดิมหมดนะครับเพียงแต่ว่าโอกาสนี้ท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าได้จากพวกเราไปซะก่อนแต่อย่างไรก็ตามก่อนที่ท่านจะจากไปผมได้รับทราบว่าท่านนายพลมอบให้บุตรชายท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าหลายท่านแล้วก็ท่านประธานซั่วให้สืบต่องานมูลที่อันนี้ซึ่งท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าได้ตั้งชื่อมูลที่นี้ว่า American Monk Development Foundation ครับเพื่อนำการพัฒนาสิ่งที่พวกเราพี่น้องชาวมงมีอยู่ใน35ปีในอเมริกาในประเทศ3เนี่ยกลับไปพัฒนาประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็อีกคำถามหนึ่งที่ผมอยากถามผมรู้ว่าเวลาเขาก็อยากให้ท่านเข้าไปข้างในแต่ว่าสิ่งสำคัญที่สุดท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าแต่ไหนแต่ใดมามีความสัมพันธ์อย่างดียิ่งกับเมืองไทยและก็พระมหากษัตริย์ไทยขอให้ท่านนายพลอนุทักษ์ช่วยอธิบายหรือว่าสิ่งที่ท่านรู้เกี่ยวกับความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าและก็ประเทศไทยรัฐบาลไทยและก็พิเศษที่สุดก็คือพระมหากษัตริย์ไทยนะครับ
คือผมจะกราบเรียนว่าเป็นประวัติศาสตร์ที่น่ายกย่องได้น่าทึ่งที่สุดนะครับประเทศไทยเรายึดถือเสมอว่าท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าเป็นบุคคลสำคัญบุคคลหนึ่งที่มีส่วนร่วมในการรักษาเสรีภาพและเอกราชและก็ระบอบประชาธิปไตยของประเทศไทยมาจนตราบจนทุกวันนี้นะครับเพราะว่าพวกเราอาจจะห่างไกลจากประวัติศาสตร์แต่ผมจะกราบเรียนว่าในปี 1968 นั้นท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าได้ไปเข้าเฝ้าพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวไทยนะครับแล้วก็ได้ร่วมหลังจากนั้นก็ได้ร่วมกับกองทัพไทยในการทำสงครามปกปักรักษาเสรีภาพประชาธิปไตยในเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้ของเราครับ
ครับผมแล้วก็ผมรู้ว่าท่านนายพลต้องได้ลาจากที่นี่ไปหรือว่าไปที่อื่นแต่ว่าขอบคุณมากๆมีสิ่งไหนอีกไหมที่ท่านนายพลอยากจะกล่าวให้กับประชาชนอยู่ไม่ใช่แค่ประเทศสหรัฐอเมริกาแต่ว่าอยู่ในโลกนี้ที่ให้เขาจำแล้วก็รู้จักท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าแล้วก็ความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างท่านแล้วก็ท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าครับมีอีกไหมที่อยากจะกล่าวนะครับ
ผมอยากจะกราบเรียนว่าท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าท่านเป็นบุคคลที่ผมเรียกได้ว่าเป็นพ่อของผมคนหนึ่งนะครับท่านมีความเสียสละอย่างยิ่งและสิ่งที่ท่านทำและมอบให้พวกกับผมท่านประธานซั่วทำคือนำความเจริญที่พวกเราได้รับมานี้กลับไปดูแลลูกหลานในประเทศบ้านเกิดเมืองนอนซึ่งเป็นสิ่งที่หายากที่สุดครับผมครับสำหรับบุคคลที่น่าเคารพย่องอย่างท่านนายพลว่างเปล่าครับ
ครับผม
ครับ
แล้วก็วันนี้ผมต้องกราบขอบคุณท่านมากๆด้วยที่ให้เวลามาให้กับทางทีวีเราด้วยนะครับแล้วก็โชคดีกับท่านด้วยครับขอบคุณมากครับขอบคุณครับGue cho nên là John Kecker ya ituท่านในพลว่าปอตัวattorney ตัว lead attorney ตัว General Vang Pao ขอ case ว่าเขา federal against ดึงนอนทุนนอไปตรงเชียว่าตาว John so John thank you very much for talking to us
Pleasure.
And as I introduced, John Kecker is the lead attorney for General Vang Pao case, the federal against Hmong or against General Vang Pao, and he's here today not because of anything, but to pay tribute to General Vang Pao in his memorial service. So, John, it's anything would you like to tell us about what you know about General Vang Pao before we go on?
Well, I just said what I know about General Vang Pao is that I met him in a Sacramento hospital where he was being guarded as though he might escape. It was a completely false and wrong accusation. It took the government too long, a couple of years, to recognize it, and even then, when they dismissed the case against him, they did not apologize, they did not recognize that they had wrongfully accused a great man, and they should be ashamed, and I hope they are ashamed.
And for that, John, before we talk about the memorial service today, what Hmong would like to know is that know what you knew about General Vang Pao. When the very first time when you met with him, did he make you feel any different than any thousand of clients you have previously represented in your career?
I knew I was in the presence of a great man, a great warrior, a man who had survived many wounds, many helicopter crashes, many plane crashes. He was a man of fate, and he was a lot different than most of my clients. I was impressed right away, even as he lay in the hospital bed, almost semi-conscious at times.
And then let's move on a little bit to the demonstration that 1,000 of Hmong, 10,000 of Hmong demonstrate outside the court, and I was there, and many people was there as well, and we saw you stand next to General Vang Pao and proclaim, confidently that the case would prevail. Can you describe to us the feeling at the time before they dropped the case?
Well, the feeling in the middle of that demonstration was something that I've never experienced. I have never seen such dedicated solidarity for somebody who was in trouble with the U.S. government, and it made my heart glad. I know it made his heart glad, and it made his burden much more tolerable.
I'm sure all of us have the same feeling, but mostly now, John, we know that the case is very difficult. The sin is predicted to be life in prison. Did it worry you at all when you volunteered to take the case?
Well, you always worry if the government comes after you, but I never doubted that he was innocent and that he would be that innocence would be recognized. It just, as I said, took longer than I had hoped.
I see. From June 4th to September 29, I believe, 2009, when they dropped General Vang Pao off the case. Can you describe a little bit about that to us, please?
Well, we were trying to get to the bottom of what the government had done. We were trying to learn more about this secret agent who had stirred things up. We finally found out that many of the things that he had said under oath were completely false, and began to complain about that to the judge and to the Justice Department. So that was the work that was going on during that period.
I see. At that time, John, we know that you have years of experience, practice law. Did it surprise you that the U.S. government actually brought this huge of a case against their ally, their best friend, that worked for them and defend the freedom and democracy, not just for Hmong, but for the system of democracy in the world? Did it surprise you at all?
Unfortunately, the fact that the government makes mistakes, or that some parts of the government don't know anything about other parts of the government, doesn't surprise me, and that's what happened here. Some Justice Department prosecutors were taken for a ride by a DEA agent who shouldn't have been in the job. and I don't think they knew who they were dealing with. They certainly didn't know anything about the Hmong people, and they had information that was just plain bad.
Let's turn a little bit to the funny part of it, is that the contractor who was supposed to supply the weapon in Arizona, what was he really is? I mean, what kind of business he really doing? Or is he an official contract that actually work with United States government?
No, the whole thing on the government's part, on the government agent's part, was one big scam. He lied about who he was. He lied about what he could do. He lied about what should be done. But the part that I want to get across about General Vang Pao had nothing to do with this guy, and completely disapproved even of the scam that he was running. He didn't know it was a scam, but he disapproved of it. That's why he never should have been prosecuted.
One thing the Hmong community around the world like to know is that, did General Vang Pao and the crew really went out and touch or actually try to purchase the weapon claimed to be by the U.S. government, or are they just viewing some picture advertised by an undercover agent, sir?
General Vang Pao at one point was shown some weapons by this undercover agent. He never agreed to have anything to do with them, never agreed to have them bought, never agreed to any scheme, and the problem was that the agent lied about that, and it took a while to prove that he lied about it, but it became pretty plain that he was lying. General Vang Pao had nothing to do with it, thought it was a bad idea, and some of the others got more tempted, but they eventually thought it was a bad idea too. The thing was never going to go anywhere.
Be sure you have some special moment with General Vang Pao, or talk to him in a certain way that none of us can or could. Can you describe what is he really like his people to do, and what his mission or goal for his people, Hmong people?
Well, all I can tell you, when I talked to General Vang Pao, he was always a general, and I was always a lieutenant. So he never stopped being a general. And obviously, you know as much about his mission for the Hmong people. He wants people to stay together. He wants human rights in Laos. He wants peace and respect among people. And he wants the Hmong to do as well as they possibly can, get educated, and live as Americans, respecting one another.
Let me get to the sad part of it. January 6th of 2011 is the day that every Hmong that loved him, every Hmong that knew him, heard the worst, the bad news about his death. Where were you, and did you hear about immediately, and what is your reaction about his death?
I heard about it immediately. I was very sad, but I must say, everybody has to die, and I was awfully glad that General Vang Pao could die a free, vindicated man. I was always worried, because he'd been sick before, that sometime in the middle of this crazy case, he might die and not be vindicated. So I was very glad that he could at least enjoy the fact that the government finally admitted that they were wrong.
Absolutely. A few days after he left his people, and a few days after he felt that perhaps it would never happen, but it happened. They dropped the entire case on January 10th. Sir, what is your reaction?
I was ecstatic and was glad to see this case completely done.
Absolutely. And today, John, you're here today. Every time when you talk to General Vang Pao, it's how he would represent or talk to his people. But this time, when you're here, you see thousands of Hmong pay tribute for him, and seeing him lie on a casket covered with American flag. What's your reaction, sir?
My reaction is what I said. He's a great man. He's up there with George Washington as a person who's a great warrior, but is a person who brought his people together. And he gave me this ring the last time I saw him. I treasure it. It's absolutely beautiful, and I will keep it with me the rest of my life.
Is there anything else, as a lead attorney for General Vang Pao, would you like to tell the people who are watching around the world, not just in America or different TV, but on internet as well? What is your message to them on behalf of General Vang Pao, sir?
Tell your children what a great man he was, and and remember him.
And thank you very much, John. Thank you and pleasure to meet with you, and may God bless you as well. Thank you. Which is a really good way to do it. This is a lot of
Sa cái lấy lo dòng thêm mua rồi. Cú sa bao tia, yo Olivia thằng họ hơi bao hoa to.
Cú sa chuột tia cái bé chóp là ít khó kể một qua mò liền.
Cú sa bao tia, bộ mua lên từ chơi cho cú. Anthem Blue Cross K. Ba cho trẻ nhưng mua medical hỏng trong Sacramento. Chỉ lý chia cho bùa cho plau lò lờ. Nhưng bé trao medical. Hu trao ý gì bùa ó xa. Bé ó bé gì. Có bao cho tia bé yo ba tàu co lý trả cho tê ya và chừng chén cha trâu co thia cái trẻ ninh. Anthem Blue Cross.
Nó tàn lúc tàn mò chỉ mua xe hở đi à?
Chỉ mua câu đi à?
Ô đi.
Cho họ để mua gì là chỉ tao này à?
Lên này à? Vậy là nóiท่านในคนว่าพอจอรุ่นเด่นจอ volunteer แล้วอย่างเคตัวนู้นตัวมอเสด็จนอจำเป็นเสด็จตัวได้ตัวแล้วกูว่าเราว่าหมอว่ารงเทียกาแล้วกูว่าหูอีมงที่ในที่ตัวเขาหรืออะไรไม่อยากจะน่ะในตัว volunteer ตัวอีมงอีตามอล่ะ very good 我赚到什么内嘛？别什么忙呢？แล้วเสด็จพวกเราหน้ายูนิฟอร์มหน้าดิชอเลยจะในปอนนั่นลอยจะตัว volunteer จะล่อจะโยจะเนี่ยเจ๊เสด็จนะจะน้อยจะเนี่ยว่าหมอล่ะ
lô pa tàu cao tí cho mù e cao lô vào lô chế sầu đủ tranh cái này tí nữa
我nhớ đồng sự của họ nhớ cho nên là Dr. Charlie Water, thiên Dr. chú cha, giờ auto Charlie, ok đó Dr. Charlie chú cha, gỡ là thản nó đi chỉ hay cho đểท่านในผลว่าปอจะซึ่งจะลานะเทียแต่อย่าหวังเกษาแต่จีนยอท่านในผลว่าปอเตาเลยจีนยอทีนี้ชูชีแล้วท่านในผลว่าปอเนาะกูอยากตีแล้วก็เราให้เราเกิดอย่าไปให้ไม่จีนลูมิกาอ่ะนี่เนาะ so Charlie today it's really a sad day for Hmong around the world. And before I ask you a few questions, I'd like you to tell the audience who's watching right now, given the relationship that you know General Vang Pao, and how is that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I haven't had time to mourn. My heart's breaking because he was a great friend, he was a great man, he was a statesman, and he was a general. He was a great leader. It's very sad to watch what's going on. It still hasn't hit me because I saw him every day until he passed away from the day he went in the hospital. Right now I'm deeply concerned because we were turned down by the Army to be buried in Arlington for reasons that don't make sense. He said that it would take up the space of a veteran. I'm a veteran. I told him I would give him my space. He could have my space. He needs to be with the future Hmong, the young Hmong, would have somewhere to go to see a hero, to see a statue, to see him buried with all the other heroes. They have actors, actresses, they have French, they have English military, they have pilots from the world, they have a German POW, an Italian POW, all these friends of presidents buried there. And why can't this incredible military leader who fought this war with the brave Hmong warriors for 15 years in that damn war?
Doctor ชื่อก็อย่าไปอีหลังตีก็อย่าอีตุญญาเจนท่านในผลว่าปอเราเนาะ specifically ให้เจ้าขอแล้วจีการแล้วท่านในผลว่าปอเจ้าในรู้เจมือถือเจียไป Arlington Cemetery ก็อวดสีเนี่ยก็หอมวกเก๋สาที่เก๋ปอรงลิกาให้เจ้าของตัวเที่ย
ให้เจ้าของเดี๋ยวเนาะกูอยากให้ตัว member เนี่ยเขารู้ Central Committee เดี๋ยวในภาวะรุ่นเต็งที่ไปจงมุ่งตันทอเนี่ยท่องเที่ยวที่เนี่ยเขา Fresno เราเนี่ยที่เจออเมริกาไปตัวเขาเนาะอย่าอินุตื่นเก่าเชื่อตัวเก่าเชื่อตัวที่หนึ่งไปยิงบ่าที่เชื่อแต่รู้ที่เจออเมริกาเนาะอย่าอ้อนเนาะที่เจอมอนเนี่ยเพราะว่าพอรู้เจ๊จะมุ่งสื่อตัวไปอินุซื้อตัวเชื่อไปน้องเขาจะไปArlingtonลูกบวชไปแล้วเทิร์นดาวล่ะ
Dr. Charlie, is my other question to you is General Vang Pao is one of many leaders in the world that cooperate or agree to help the United States of America fight against their enemy, their interests around the world. If the United States government rejected the general on his last day on earth, what is going to happen to the other airlines around the world? What do you think?
Yeah, let me tell you, it was not the government. It was a group of idiots, absolute mindless idiots that pressed the wrong button. It was done electronically by a committee. This committee does not represent us. He doesn't represent me. They represent themselves and some damn policy. But we can overcome that. It is not the government, nor is it the people rejecting. The people want, the veterans want. The Vietnam veterans even came out and said for it. I'm with the American Legion. Let me tell you, it was a group of misinformed idiots that made that decision. The Secretary of Army should apologize immediately to the Hmong people. How dare he? He said, well, I'll go along with the vote. Sure, he doesn't have a brain of his own if he did that. I don't care who he is. The Hmongs served this country. They died for this country. They spilled blood for this country. They lost everything they had. They lost their homes. They lost their property. They went to they came here to a foreign country where they had to learn a new language. Thank God they're here. You're an incredible addition to us. But we don't ever think it's the government. It's the individuals, the bureaucrats that work in the government. Individuals like you and I, not the government, not the people speaking. We love you. We're not. I guarantee you, you are respected and cared for and wanted here. And the youth should honor the veterans. And we want him buried there so that the youth, for centuries to come, will look back and say, look, here was a Hmong hero. He's buried here with the other heroes, the George Washington, the other heroes.
Dr. Charlie, is one more question I'd like to ask you about the burial at Arlington Cemetery. Is that if the United States government or sub-board or board committee rejected his burial over at the Arlington Cemetery, we as Hmong people that we have talked to, as a reporter, I believe that will be a big mistake. What do you think?
I think it's a big mistake not burying him there. It's a horrible mistake. I offered him my grave. I offered him as a combat veteran from Korea. I offered, and they wouldn't answer me. Because I'm not dead yet. I have to die first.
ไปตัวเซ็งโคมินิสุราตัว
สิริลูกของในตัวในยอลูกของกุลิจ่า
ลูกของยามอง United Women Association
United Hmong Women of Minnesota ในตัวจนในผมรู้ได้ชีอยู่หายโจในผมว่าปอดเนี่ย
เป้กุมบ้านมันจีตัวหายตัวเป้ยาวเลยแต่เป้จีว่าปอจะเป้เชยเลยเทีย
สิริในผมว่าปอตอนใจในสิริหายตัวชาปอนเนี่ยในสุดตัวกุยปอนเนี่ยในสาลิกาเซ
ตัวเชื่อชับเลยแต่เป้ตัวว่าจะเป้เชยเลยเทียแต่เวลาหายนู่นเป้กูตัวชวนโอจอกตอนนี้เขาเชื่อเกี่ยงเชื่อเกี่ยตัวเชื่อแต่ชิมาลิจาเราตัวปอชดเกี่ยเป้กูยงเชื่อหายแต่ชดกูเขาจะเป้จีเลยแต่รู้ชัวจะเป้จีเทีย
อย่าเลี้ยวก็ในก็ผมรู้ได้ชีหายตัวจอเนี่ยที่จ้าว่าเสด็จแท้
过去嘛，见到遐但是用些今年时候多了，要叫你就自，侬那都些还的啊，一切多到一切多知道，别多侬那些别多给用些，但是别多给都些了，要的别多好别自肉高到侬那。
จิตตอนนี้สิริจินน่ะผมว่าปอตอนใจเป็นเสด็จมูยาชิมนุตะกันเราเลยให้จอเนี่ยตัวชาปนเนี่ยในเกษาในให้จอเป็นรุ่นเนี่ยอย่าไปช่วยในยงลิจ่า
要一考到些个杯子，我大梦就杯子了。杯路呢也当得，杯要到新路，杯叫日子，就叫vinjau，杯叫个地梦是了，杯要到我这个新路是公司啊，以后就杯去新路这些公司啊，就杯要去把家我路呢，我来也当得了，侬那一弄到些很，杯要叫日子也到明年收了。thọ bé chỉ cho bé chơi, bây giờ tôi muốn đánh hợp bé chỉ cho lúc lọ family mình sau đó bây giờ ban nhiệt chế tôi muốn kia đến nụ và lấy bữa nọ bữa hậu thì tôi vào tủ chế bé cho nó và bé sẽ kể tôi được nó để cho bé cho nhiệt chế nhớ cho bé mình sau đó lọ pha lụt cái một trò lỡ hạt bé cho đến nụ trò lỡ sẽ đợi còn lỡ nhớ bé lọ lỡ sao hạt bé tôi cho nó bé tôi cho thế tiền lỡ bây giờ tôi sẽ chế nó bé cho nhiệt chế sẽ đợi li tôi sẽ đợi tu nó nói như nó tu xía tôi chỉ này sẽ đợi thìจงเป็ดสิรู้คนต่างโน่น
สิริทว่ามุดซอนโดดเป๋นะผมว่าพอรู้เล่เลยอย่างรุ่นแต่งเป็นเลยในยูไฮลิจาเนี่ยตัวก็รู้เชื่อยูไฮลิจาโต
ยี่ห้ออีกข้อเกตุชาให้เป็นยี่จุกก้าแต่เป็นยูหาเตาเลยจานหลง
ยอดถอเป็นมันจะเป็นเลยbây giờ ít cho nè chế bây giờ tôi sẽ cùng cầu luôn châu như hay chỉ tàu lên lúc có mua bông là giờ con nói giờ khó bây giờ bên nè lúc bệnh sử sư cho họ tiền một cho sư có một những bông là sao tiền cho tôi nàyยังrong ý dạng đi cụ sáng nó thế
cái liệu qua cho nó đào này tàu tua này để này là United Home Women of Minnesota tàu tuaของลูกคนเชียงรายที่เอาชนเตาเนี่ย
โอ้เจ้า
ใหญ่จงรู้ตัวหลังจวนนี่จีจอย 我想要的还有中的啊，悲欢之间争吵种种难解，你我他也把好兵当中啊中的人感动的万金这了，常年中等南外塞南正眼光。 เ
tu sa hành ta chỉ nó ta còn cả chỗ lót vô thâu luôn mong lại
cú sa cái lấy lo rong thêm mua rong cú sa bao tia有欧里家同你好好包活多
กูสาชดเตียกับไปชอบละอีคอเกมมัวมอลี
cú sa bao tia bộ mua lên từ chơiกู Anthem Blue Cross K ป้าจะเจนึงมัว Medical ของจัง Sacramento จิลีอีเทียจุปัวจะเปล่าลอเลยจึงไปจอ Medical ผู้เจ้าอีหยีปัวอ้อชาไปอ้อไปหยีก็เป้าเจเตียไปโยป้าเตาก็ลิจาเจเตียว่าจึงเจงชาเตาก็เทียก็เจนึง Anthem Blue Cross
đi bây giờ thằng này còn lúc vào lúc chế bớt sáu rong cơ nó giờ lúc trong cái bây giờ cái mình nhớ cho nó muốn bây giờ hoa hư muốn như nó tụt tê tụt tờ rồi nó giờ chậm bài cái thao bây giờ lại tốt mong rồi thế này còn cho thế này còn lúc chế
Đừng cầu bà mà tôi lỗ nên tôi tôi lỗ
lúc nào vậy nó tu xe còn lúc là bây giờ thằng này phun tôi cho rồi nó chạy chén để nó bây giờ không cho được tôi để nó tôi trong từ kia đi thì mà tu xe rồi họ để bây tôi chỉ bỏ nên tôi bỏ nên tôi xứ họ qua rồi sẽ được chầu đá thế còn thì cái tên này này sẽ được cho nhau đây để chúng tôi để nó ta chỉ họ chơi này họ chạy chén thế họ rong đồ bây trồng không sẽ được cho nên tôi nhau được nó bây giờ không sẽ được giờ tàu rong thế bây giờ tàu nó tàu ba tàu vừa rồi giờ toàn đây cần nên sẽ được trò xe thế
bây giờ tụi họ tôi nhớ tôi là phát triển để nó bây giờ cái tin này sẽ có những cái trong khi mà tôi nó chỉ cái mà rồi cái nó là muốn này bây giờ là như tụi xe cái này
nó cô chỉ hay nó kỹ nó xa hay nó chút kỹ pin mông lúc này tụi xa cho nó nói nó cả tôi lo như sao nó cũng
cú sa cái lấy lo rong thêm mua rong cú sa bao tia有欧里家同你好好包活多
กูสาชดเตียกับไปชอบละอีคอเกมมัวมอลี
cú sa bao tia bộ mua lên từ chơiกู Anthem Blue Cross K ป้าจะเจนึงมัว Medical ของจัง Sacramento จิลีอีเทียจุปัวจะเปล่าลอเลยจึงไปจอ Medical ผู้เจ้าอีหยีปัวอ้อชาไปอ้อไปหยีก็เป้าเจเตียไปโยป้าเตาก็ลิจาเจเตียว่าจึงเจงชาเตาก็เทียก็เจนึง Anthem Blue Cross
ท่านเลยหัวท่านเลยหัว
vậy rồi nhau phát tội là
ok
nó sẽ quay trở lại đó
Okay, step nữa nó nè. Step nè. Step nhá nó.
step ạ
Just a little further.
Okay.
Fine, lower gently.
Okay. 拉起房了，喂，这是房了，搞搞搞，而且呢就出保票，这人全部行市。
我睇下，好。
都个时那个别太个包个年长那个啥。是，个打等的别太个包个年，让人呢。你咋那个那个俺们这年终呢？
cú sa cái lấy lo dòng thêm mua dòng cú sa bao tiền giờ ô lý gia thằng họ hơi bao hoa to
cú sa cho tiền cái bé chóp là ít khó cái mua qua mò liền
cú sa bao tiền bộ mua lên từ chơi cho cú Anthem Blue Cross K ba cho trẻ nhưng mua medical hỏng trong Sacramento chỉ lý thiết cho bùa cho bao lo lợ nhưng bé trao medical hu trao ý gì bùa ó xa bé gì có bao cho tiền bé yo ba tàu co lý gia cho tây ya và chỉnh chỉnh cha tàu co thiết cái trẻ nên Anthem Blue Cross
Thật cho nó vậy phải chơi quỷ trong chung cười, nó phải chơi quỷ để cho nó được chú rồi nó xứ cho nó có chơi nó có chơi rồi là con ở chứa rồi là có cái chỗ mong thật là
Guys, can you make us a room? Okay, tại với chế đám gì sao? Chào chị.
Kita dah mau apa ada nih mata lamu ama. Kita mau apa ada nih saya dah mata lamu na.
Okay. Dia. Itu apa? Ini pun kapal tu na. Pejau kami tu menyo. Yang jauh di mana tu na. Wali jalan ini pun lo tahu jai mu lah. Lo yang cekung cemong tanpa tapi. Jangan hau na. Jangan jauh presno nya Amerika teh kan. Tapi protes lo yang cekung mong tu ada cekung.